So I just throw it. All right. First and foremost, I want to thank you. I want to thank you all for coming. Thank you for your support. I said recently to my family and friends that this is not about me. This is about all of us getting a voice in Washington. And I'm just the guy carrying the flag. I want to thank Bar A for having us here. I really appreciate it. So I'll be sure. I want to thank Congressman Smith for his 30 years of service.
You know what? I have no idea.
Recently I was riding in the car with my son, and something came on the radio, and he asked a question about it, and I was explaining it to him, and he said, and as I started explaining it to him, it quickly turned into a political rant. And when I was done, he looked at me and said, "You know, Dad, if you took out all the swear words, that'd be a pretty good speech." So we're going to give it a shot here. As you might imagine, I've been thinking a lot lately about how I might convey my leadership abilities to the voters, how I would perform in Congress. I recently got a phone call from a friend of mine who just got back from Afghanistan. He's still working on the program that I was working on when I was in Iraq in 2009 and 2010. And he was complaining a little bit about his boss, and he threw me a compliment and said, "You know, when you were in charge here, we were all pulling in the same direction. We were all very mission focused." And that reminded me when I took over there, one of the first things I did was I brought everybody into the briefing room and I wrote up on the board: 1, safety; 2, mission; 3, mission; 4, mission; 5, mission. I knew that if I had, well, first off, safety first, because my primary responsibility was getting everybody home safe, and that worked out. But I knew if I had everybody focused on these core issues, these core ideas, that they'd be working together as a team. I also knew if I made my decisions based on these core ideas, that everything would work out ultimately. And it did. We were able to save a lot of American lives. So, I thought tonight I'd talk about 2 of those core ideas that are going to help guide my decision making in Washington. I thought I'd talk about liberty and the American dream.
Alina's not coming.
Liberty is a word that's been overused quite a bit, and I think we've gotten away from what it actually means. By definition, it's freedom from captivity or slavery. It's a political, social, or economic right that belongs to all people of a society, or all people in general. As an American, we are all guaranteed constitutionally the right to liberty. That's a right that was bought and paid for with the blood of patriots in the Revolutionary War. And again in the War of 1812, and again in World War I and World War II, and again in Korea and Vietnam, and Iraq, and now Afghanistan. Liberty means you're free to live your lives with your families without fear of government interference. Our founding fathers did a tremendous job with the Constitution. And they did an even better job wrapping up all those ideas and putting them into one paragraph, the preamble. They chose the words very carefully. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty for ourselves and our posterity. Ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America. Secure the blessings of liberty for ourselves and our posterity. Think about that for a minute. One of the primary reasons for the existence of the federal government is to secure your individual liberty. I think a lot of people in Washington have forgotten that. You've all heard me talk about apathy being the curse of free men. That's why I'm standing here talking to you. It's why you're all sitting there listening to me. But we all have to be vigilant to protect our Constitution and ensure that our children and their children enjoy the blessings of liberty that so many have fought and died to protect. Now, the American dream. Politicians love talking about the American dream. The idea that you can do anything, be anything, achieve anything that you want. The American dream was born out of the realization in the early 20th century that this great experiment of Franklin, Jefferson, Madison, and Hamilton was actually working. People here in the United States and around the world came to understand that the single greatest gift of a free society is opportunity. Notice I said opportunity and not guarantee. As we move into the 21st century, there are those that will replace American opportunities with guarantees. And guarantees are simply not sustainable. We only have to look to Greece to see what happens when government steps in, takes property from one group and disseminates it to a larger, less fortunate group. Any model that relies on the efforts of a minority to support the society as a whole simply cannot survive. Recently, supporters of the guarantee model have relied heavily on their definition of fairness. They pander for votes while they imply that fairness, as defined as quality of results, should be the goal of our society and even an individual right. They're, of course, wrong. Fairness is not a quality of results, but a quality of opportunity. Perhaps the best example of fairness is sports. I should know, most of the people, half the people in here know me as coach. But we've been playing sports for thousands of years. We've come to understand that a typical fair competition starts with the contestants have the same starting point, they play by the same rules, and in the end, they usually have a winner and a loser. No government entity comes in, takes points from one group, and awards them to another, at least not yet. The determining factors are typically some combination of talent, preparation, and hard work. What all my players know I refer to as hustle. There's a reason we want our children to participate in sports. It teaches them about life, real life, not some perverted fantasy that we see in the media and on TV, but real life with winners and losers. Emma Lazarus' sonnet on the Statue of Liberty alludes to the American dream when it offers, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free." This, its most famous line, makes no reference, no promise of prosperity, no government handout, no free medical care, simply a place in which to breathe free. It's understood that with this freedom, there is no greater opportunity on earth. Not to be shackled in government dependency, but to be successful and go as far as your preparation, talent, and hustle will take you. For more than 2 centuries, that's the American dream that so many have fought so long and so hard to protect. And now it's our turn. My name is Terry McGowan. And when you send me to Washington as your representative, I promise to safeguard our liberty and secure the American dream by preserving and protecting the Constitution of the United States. Thank you.